Dear students, in our last discussion, we have completed our explanation on the various properties of a solid matter. Based on certain parameters, we have tried our level best to compare, to describe the various properties which a solid matter is having. We have promised you in the last part that today we will start our discussion on the properties of liquid. So let us start that very discussion regarding the properties of liquid. Regarding the properties of liquid, the very first parameter which we are supposed to consider is the shape and volume. A liquid has no definite shape but has a definite volume. A liquid takes the shape of the vessel in which it is kept. This is because particles of a liquid can slip over one another and finally settle down to take the shape of the vessel. Since the particles cannot come closer to or go farther away from one another, the volume of the liquid, if we consider, the volume of the liquid does not change. So this is about the shape and volume. Second point, the second parameter which we are considering is density. Yes, if we compare the density of a liquid with that of a solid, then we have to say that the density of liquids is lower than that of a solid. Yes, this is true. The next parameter, the third parameter which we can consider is compressibility. We have said a lot when we discussed about solid also, compressibility of solid. Here let us see compressibility of a liquid is to what extent. Liquid can be compressed only to a small extent, that is, they are almost incompressible. However, they have a slightly higher compressibility than solid. Why? What is the reason? This is because the intermolecular space in liquids is somewhat greater than that in solid. So they are having the provision to come much more closer to one another. So their compressibility rate, the degree of compressibility, is higher than that of solid. Now, the fourth parameter which we are supposed to consider is the melting point and the boiling point. The melting and the boiling points of a liquid are generally lower as compared to those of the solid. Solids are having much more higher melting and boiling point in comparison to that of the liquid. The melting points of a liquid are lower than the room temperature, but the boiling point are higher. The next point, after discussing melting point and boiling point of a liquid, the next parameter which comes for liquid is the fluidity. Yes, students, a liquid has the property to flow, which was absent in solid. If you can recall, I have said that very clearly while discussing about solid. A fluid has the property of flowing, to flow. If water is spilled on the floor, it begins to spread out and its shape changes automatically, but its volume remains the same. So, a liquid, we can say that it flows because its particles have higher kinetic energy than the particles of a solid. In comparison to solid, liquids have higher kinetic energy, and so it is bound to flow from one direction to another. So this is about fluidity of liquid. The sixth parameter, the sixth point which comes, is about diffusion. Since liquids have fluidity, they have also the property of intermixing, which we have also discussed regarding solid also, where we have given you some rare examples where in very slow rate solid particles like in soil can show some kind of drift, some kind of transfer of some particles from one layer to another layer. Here, let us perform one activity regarding the diffusion rate of liquid. Let us take two beakers, A and B, and fill them with water. Let us add a drop of blue ink carefully to the water in beaker. So we can add a drop of honey to the water in beaker B. What will we observe? We will observe that the ink in beaker A spreads out immediately at very fast rate, while the honey goes down, leaving behind a streak along the side of the beaker B. Further, color of the ink spreads throughout the liquid, throughout the available space within the vessel, within about say 10 to 15 minutes. On the other hand, honey requires much longer time to spread. Since the density of honey is greater than that of the ink, it diffuses into water at a slower rate in comparison to that of the ink. So this is the reason why the diffusion rate is more in one in comparison to the other. Density is playing a vital role. Now let us take two glasses again. Fill one with hot water and the other with cold water. Let us add a crystal of blue vitriol, that is copper sulfate, to each glass. Hot water becomes blue shortly, very fast, while cold water takes much more time to become blue. What does it show? What is the outcome? What is the summary then of this very activity? This activity shows that the rate of diffusion of solid particles into liquid is higher at higher temperature. The reason is very easy, I think, for you to understand. In the water which is having higher temperature, the particles are more dispersed, much more spreaded up. So this facilitates diffusion to a great extent, while on the other hand, the cold water, in the case of cold water, the particles are closer to one another, and so the diffusion is getting some kind of resistance, some kind of hindrance. As a result, the diffusion rate is much less. Now friend, can you say how aquatic plants and animals survives? How the aquatic plants and animals survives in water? The answer is, we all know that air is a mixture of oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide and other gases. These gases dissolve in water by the process of diffusion. So the oxygen and carbon dioxide dissolved in water are taken up by the aquatic animals and the aquatic plants, and in this way they survive very easily. So here also see, the diffusion of these gases, important gases, is becoming a key factor for the survival of the aquatic plants and the aquatic animals. Thus, we see that the solid, liquids and gases all diffuses into the liquids. The rate of diffusion increases on raising the temperature. Next comes freezing. Freezing is the next parameter. The term freezing means the transformation, the change of a liquid into a solid state. That is, solidification of a liquid is called freezing. For example, when water is cooled to 0 degree centigrade, it is converted into ice. The change is, of course, a temporary one. The temperature at which the freezing of a liquid occurs is called its freezing point. However, the presence of a non-volatile impurity lowers the freezing point of a liquid. For example, the freezing point of pure water is 0 degree centigrade. But when a non-volatile substance dissolves in it, its freezing point goes below 0 degree centigrade. Now, the next point which comes for discussion is evaporation. You must have seen that if water in a flat dish is left exposed to air, it disappears after some time. Water in a shallow pond or lake also disappears, especially during the summer. You may ask, where has the water gone? This question may arise in your mind. Answer is, actually, water has gone into the atmosphere. That is, it has been converted into vapor. The process by which a liquid changes into its vapor is called evaporation. So then I think we can define also now the word evaporation. Yes, the term evaporation may be defined as follows: the conversion of a liquid into its vapor either by exposing the liquid to air at the room temperature or by heating it below its boiling point is known as evaporation. Okay, now let us perform one activity. Let us take a small amount of carbon disulfide on a watch glass and keep it exposed to air. After some time, you will find that the carbon disulfide has disappeared from the watch glass. We can do another activity. Let us take sodium chloride, that is common salt, table salt. Let us take sodium chloride solution in a porcelain dish and place it on a water bath. After some time, what will you observe? We will observe that water from the porcelain basin has evaporated, leaving behind sodium chloride as residue. Okay, now then let us explain the process of evaporation from some other point of view. See, as the particles of a liquid are constantly moving, they collide with one another. They collide with each other. They also collide with the particles of air when left exposed. In doing so, some of the particles at the surface of the liquid acquire extra energy and hence they overcome the intermolecular forces of attraction that pull them back and keep them with the bulk of the liquid. These highly energetic particles leave the surface and go into the vapor. So I think this is making you understand the very process of evaporation. Dear students, after this we will discuss about the various factors which affect the rate of evaporation, but that we will continue in the next part. I think today we have discussed sufficient points based on sufficient parameters about the properties of liquid. If I can repeat them, those parameters, they are shape and volume, density is the second point, third is compressibility, fourth is melting point and boiling point, fifth is fluidity, the sixth parameter is diffusion, seventh is your freezing, and finally The eighth point is evaporation, which we today have discussed as much as we can. We have given you the definition also. So let us end up today up to this here. In the next part we will start discussing about the factors of evaporation. Till then, goodbye.